welcome to the Scale Model Podcast, Episode 1. My name is Stuart Clark. In this podcast, I aim to entertain, inform, and hopefully promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and more about the model scale hobby. The podcast will be airing roughly every 2 weeks, and as we go, we're hoping to have, as I said, more guests and things like that. So let's get right to it. A brief background of myself. I've been in the model kit hobby as a kid for years and years and years. Like many people, I gave it up in my teenage years and got back to it about 10 to 12 years ago. It's amazing how much new things have been added to the hobby. But overall, the hobby seems to be growing and a little bit of a resurgence, so that's really good. I build a little bit of everything, aircraft and armor mostly, but I have built some sci-fi subjects, some ships, and even one or two cars. I'm a member of the IPMS local chapter, London, Ontario, a part of IPMS Canada, and you'll also find me on various forums and stuff like that around the internet. I have a personal YouTube channel called Blackfire Hobbies and Games, so I invite you to check that out as well. And I am married, no kids, couple of cats, and like I said, enjoy the model building hobby to relax. So if you have any questions or comments, and I will put this on at the end of the show as well, feel free to contact us at contact@scalemodelpodcast.com, and we'd love to hear comments and feedback. We'll be setting up social media profiles as well in the upcoming little while, so you'll be able to put comments there. As I said, my hope's to hopefully inform and promote the hobby, and if we can help people with their builds and that would be awesome as well. So let's get on to the latest news. The UK's largest model show, Scale Model World at Telford, was held 2 weeks ago. As usual, the manufacturers had a few new releases. Airfix announced its 1/72nd scale Wellington 1C. That's scheduled for May 2018. The 148th Bristol Blenheim, there are some rumors about that already. That's the Mark 1F that they're hoping to have out for November 2018, and the 172nd F4 FG1, that's the British model of Phantom with the Rolls-Royce engines. That was announced at last year's Scale Model World, and they're actually hoping to have that out before Christmas, so a December 2017 release. That looks like a really nice kit. I think out of the three from Airfix, that's going to be one I'm going to be really looking at. Also, Tamiya announced a 148th BF109G. They're scheduling that, a brand new tool for a Q1 release. So that'll be interesting to see what they can do with that. Tamiya stuff is just always amazing. Special Hobby has a 1/72nd scale Saab 37 Viggen. They're scheduling that for Q1. I know a lot of people like the Viggen. There's a lot of aftermarket out there for it, and some interesting. It's always an interesting scheme. The splinter color scheme looks really, really good. Revell Europe, Revell Germany, whatever you want to call it. They've announced a 1/32nd scale P51D Mustang for end of year 2017. Again, seeing some of the production shots from Telford and that, looks like that's going to build up to be a very nice kit. Speaking of the, as some people call it, the Braille scale, 1/32nd, Hong Kong Models, they're working on a new Avro Lancaster Mark 1, and that's in 1/72nd scale. They've got a CAD preview at Telford, and they're hoping to release it for hopefully Q1 2018. They are a little bit late, they acknowledge that. But from what I've seen, if you're a fan of 1/32nd scale in the Lancaster, you're not going to be disappointed. But that is going to build up to be a monster kit. Alas, I don't have any room to display something that size, but if you do, looks like it's going to be a really, really fun kit. So that's kind of the news from Telford, and again, we'll expand the news section as we go forward. As I said, this is just episode 1 of the Scale Model Podcast. We're going to be fleshing things out as we go. We'll have longer and longer content as we move forward, especially once we get interviews with people like master builders. I want to get some retail owners, all sorts of aspects of the hobby in. What else am I doing? My current builds. I have been building the Airfix 1/48 scale Sea Hurricane. This is a brand new mold. I have had some build reviews up on my own website and at internationalscalemodelers.com. That's a good modeling forum, by the way. This new mold is just absolutely gorgeous. I maintain, and I did this in my YouTube channel, that it is the finest hurricane kit in 48 scale right now on the market. I am at the point where I've put the primer on. I've put the first coat of Sky underneath the undercarriage. The build just fit together beautifully. Almost, there were some cases where I was putting some parts in and the fit was so precise, in theory I wouldn't need glue. So that was kind of fun to do. So looking for, been building that. The cockpit goes together very well. The fit is very good, hardly any seams to do. So I've been moving forward with that. I need to do another YouTube bench update for that one. Building that, I've also got, it's kind of right now on the shelf of doom. It's a Lancaster 1/72 scale dam busters from about, the mold's about 15 years old with a lot of aftermarket stuff. Been slowly working on that. That one's been kind of on the shelf for a while. Just, there's been a lot of work with it. I spent a lot of time with photo etch. And the Odai sight in the 72nd scale isn't what it used to be, so kind of taking a little bit of a break from that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the next one I'm going to build is the Airfix TSR2. I've got it in both 72nd scale and 48 scale. Two very nice looking kits. I've bought some basic aftermarket items just in terms of photo etch, cockpit panels and stuff like that. I think the plan is I'm going to build both of them in what-if schemes. For the 48 scale, I did buy a decal set design for this with various different what-if schemes for different countries. I couldn't find the 72nd scale version when I was looking for that. So I ended up buying a aftermarket decal set for a RAF Tornado Squadron, and I'm going to adapt that because many people think, okay, if the TSR2 had gone into production, it would have replaced the Tornado in many cases. It would have even been built. Who knows? So I'm working on that. I think that's going to be the next build. I want to get a little bit more done on the Sea Hurricane. I'm one of these ones that I don't tend to have a lot of builds on the go at one time. I'll be curious what other people do, if they have about 1 or 2 builds or they have a whole bunch more in progress. I know most people have 2 or 3. It's nice that if something's drying or you need it set for 24 hours to work on something else, and I've done that too. At the moment, I've been very busy with real life, so the Sea Hurricane's keeping me more than enough busy. So that's where I am in building. So we're going to wrap this up. It's a very short one, as I said, an introduction, and then we're going to, in the next episode, we may have a guest. We're going to start covering off introduction to modeling, some tools and tips, what we're going to do. So don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be on YouTube, or we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on iTunes, I should say. We will be on YouTube eventually. iTunes and Google Play to start with, and we'll start expanding that. And if, as I said, if you have any comments, please let us know at contact@scalemodelpodcast.com. That's contact@scalemodelpodcast, all one word, .com. And you can also check out the website at, obviously, scalemodelpodcast.com. So that's it for this time. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully I've piqued your interest enough that you'll join us again and subscribe to the podcast. So I'm Stuart Clark for the Scale Model Podcast. Thank you, and be well.